I smiled in satisfaction as both of the bodies fell limp to the ground. I lowered my pistol and sighed in relief. 2 silver bullets should do the trick, I said to myself. Crying soon got my attention from off in the distance. I turned to see a man on his knees crying, hysterically. I'm guessing one of those shapeshifters I killed was posing as a loved one of his. I shook my head. This shouldn't have happened. Just how did these creatures leave the reservation? I flashed back to a few weeks ago. Back to where my life as a monster hunter truly began. Back to the reservation. The reservation was everything a young boy could ask for. Countless woods, many historical sites, and just the best people you could meet. Though my life changed forever one week, when I realized the reserve had a chilling history. You see, each tribe has a legend, or mythological creature, you would say. Famous ones include skinwalkers and Wendigo. Our tribe in particular have the Jiwakwa, a version of an ice giant. Just one of the many creatures I presumed were just stories, at least until that one fateful night. Every time a bad storm approaches, my father would usually go outside and observe the storm, he would say, even though he'd put on his working boots as if he was going to be walking in the mud. My mother would always play board games with me and sleep in the den beside me on those nights. Even though those nights were the best, I always felt the atmosphere was tense. One night in particular, I decided to go see my girlfriend Shanice before a storm approached. My mother stressed I'd be home before the storm hit, but of course, I didn't listen. It was only a storm, right? I wish. The drive back home was fairly nice. Shanice and I were talking about aliens, demons, and the government, though our conversation was cut short when we pulled into my driveway. The energy was just foreboding, to say the least. I couldn't shake the feeling that something horrible was about to happen. Shanice was also feeling the vibes. I don't like this feeling at all, she said. I smiled to calm her down a little. We'll be inside soon. No need to worry, you know? Shanice sighed and held my arm as we walked through the front door. The aroma of crab hit my nose, awakening my hunger. Mom, I'm home. I also brought Shanice. Hope you don't mind. I stopped my sentence short. The door to the patio was wide open, with the furniture pushed over. The whole house looked ransacked. Instinctively, I pushed Shanice behind me. Stay close to me, okay? I told her. She held my arm even tighter as we moved further into the house. My whole body shivered in fear. Just who would do something like this? Especially on the reserve. Who would dare do this to my family? I shook the idea from my head when I saw claw marks across the floor and a few spatters of blood. My own blood ran cold. Did someone get hurt? Immediately I thought about my mom and dad. No, they can't be hurt, I thought to myself. As we kept moving further in the house, weird noises made it apparent whoever or whatever caused this was still in the house. My breathing became erratic as I silently motioned for Shanice to go back to the car. Before she left, I gave her my phone to call the cops. Honestly, that was what we should have did from the start, but common sense was being replaced with fear. When I was sure she was in the car outside, I made my way further into the house to see what was causing the weird crunching noises. I silently crept into the den where there was a katana kept on the fireplace. I didn't own a gun, so this was the next best thing. As I got closer to my parents' bedroom, the crunching noise grew much louder. I didn't realize how loud it was until I was right behind a huge shadow. The silhouette was at least 10 feet tall and as wide as 2 people. I began to hyperventilate at the massive size of this thing. Just what was it? I began stepping back naturally in response. There was no way in hell I was going to beat that thing in a fight, even with my katana. I took a deep breath and began stepping back a bit quicker. I was halfway to the front door when I tripped on a random shoe in the den. I fell back, dropping my katana in the process. I froze and slowly peered behind me to see two red glowing eyes looking at me from my parents' bedroom. Every cell in my body screamed to run, but for some reason I couldn't move. The most primal form of fear had taken hold of my body to the point that moving was impossible. I watched as this huge creature lumbered forward out of the bedroom towards me. I only saw the silhouette until the lightning outside illuminated the creature for a brief second. I saw the face of the Chihuahua, with blood stained all over its grimacing maw. How the fuck is this even possible? It was just a stupid legend, right? The Chihuahua walked forward with ravenous eyes and a mouth dripping with saliva. This creature was nightmare fuel personified. I had to get out of here, and fast. Grabbing the katana lying on the ground, I jumped up and raced for the door with the huge creature quick on my heels. Adrenaline was all that drove me ahead of this beast, so I made sure to use it to get to my car. Shanice was waiting in the passenger seat, but I immediately made loud noises signaling to her to get the car going. I could tell she was confused until the huge beast burst through the front door in hot pursuit. Fear consumed her but drove her to scoot into the driver's seat and crank up the car. I was thankful to have left the keys in the ignition for once. Shanice hit the gas, a little too much I might add. I struggled to catch up, but eventually ran fast enough to hop into the passenger side. Once I landed in the car, Shanice hit the gas, just in time to avoid a huge fist nearly missing the car. Shanice frantically turned the corner, finally touching highway. Once it seemed like we were safe, she finally began talking. "Just what the fuck was that thing?" she asked. I looked out the window to watch the lightning. I have no idea, but if I had to guess, I'd say it was the Chihuahua from the legends. Shanice almost snorted as she sarcastically laughed. "What do you mean, Chihuahua? We were told that those were just stories to scare us from playing outside too long." I squeezed the handle of the katana. "What else could that possibly be? It matches every depiction we've been shown or told," I sighed. That thing? I think it killed my parents." The car went silent. The only noise was that of rain pelting the car as we made our way through the reserve. Shanice put a hand on my leg. "Your parents are tough. I'm sure they're alright." I held her hand, but shook my head. "You didn't see what I see." Just as I said that, the car hit a solid object in the middle of the road, causing the car to flip and roll across. My ears began to ring when the car stopped rolling. There was also a sharp pain in my left leg. I grimaced, straining to see in the dark. Are you okay?" I asked her. I heard a groan, but nothing more. That's not good at all. I struggled to move in the upside-down car, but loud thuds on the road gave me all the mobility I needed to start moving again. Though I was too late. The driver's side door was ripped open by the huge creature, then silence. The silence was so sudden, it made every hair on my body stand up in apprehension. I froze, waiting on a sound of anything to give me some form of relief. Yet what I heard next will always haunt my mind. A huge, hairy hand reached into the car, grabbing Shanice. I yelled, but nothing came out. But what I did hear was Shanice's screams of terror. Finally, finding the will to move, I crawled out of the car and looked around. I saw nothing at all, just endless darkness. "Shanice! Shanice!" I yelled. Nothing at all. Not even one cicada. My breathing sped up as the realization began to hit me. No. She can't be gone. I was hit with the back of a massive hand, causing me to fly back into the trunk of a tree. I could still hear her screams, but my vision began to swirl and leave. I passed out, momentarily letting me leave my personal hell. I don't know how long I was out, but I began hearing many voices. But what woke me up was the voice of Shanice. I sat upright but saw no one. I looked around to see the morning sun peeking over the horizon. I was so confused. Where did Miles? Again, I looked around, but there was no one there. Shanice? I said, not really expecting a response. Yes? I nearly jumped, but was reminded of the pain in my left leg. Where are you? I asked. Over here, she said. The voice came from behind the tree. I slowly got up, fighting through the pain in my leg. I limped into the woods directly behind the tree and followed her voice. How much further, Shan? Just a little further, she said. The excitement of seeing my girlfriend again put newfound rejuvenation into my body. I limp jogged through the bushes and pushed back some briars to see a sight that made my heart drop. In front of me lay a body. The body of a young girl with many lacerations of what was left of her. My heart began to pound in my ears. This can't be true. It's a joke, right? A sick joke. The flies were already beginning to fly into her body. I fell to my knees as tears filled my eyes. Laying there were the remains of Shanice. I broke down. The tears kept flowing until I heard her voice again. Miles, don't cry. I looked up, but saw no one. Now I can be a part of you forever, she said. I wiped my tears. What do you mean? I asked. Miles, my spirit is now inside of you.